Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Oilers Nation After Dark, presented by Boston Pizza and the new playoff menu, powered by Fanalytics. If you're looking for someone to go celebrate. I think you got a couple more hours here before Boston Pizza shuts down. They got locations everywhere, so go check it out. Check out the Fanalytics menu. Get the pizza flight. I highly recommend it. You'll have a good time. But actually, do that after. Do that after we wrap up, because we got a lot to get to here on Oilers Nation After Dark. My name is Connor Halley. Tonight on the show, of course, we're going to recap the Oilers' 4-1 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights in Game 4. There will be a Game 6 played now on Mother's Day on Sunday back in our town. We'll get the times with that later. Looks like on Friday night for Game 5, it's going to be an 8 o'clock start here. So another late one, but that's okay. That's perfect for a Friday night. Plenty to get to here on the show. Of course, we've got Waz joining me in a couple minutes here. We'll also have Gavin, the producer, hopping on to share some of his thoughts on the game. The chat's already going crazy. I see you guys in there on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. That would go a long way for us here on the program. Also, share if you can. Tell a friend. If you're on Twitter, hit that retweet. Let people know what we're doing here on Oilers Nation After Dark, presented by Boston Pizza. Of course, we will get to the good, the bad, the oily. My first question for you, because people are wondering what's going to happen. Alex Pietrangelo, we saw the slash at the end of the game. It was a late slash only on Draisaitl after he missed the empty net attempt. My Twitter's blowing up. Some people think it's going to be a fine. Some people think suspension. So let's just start off with that question. YouTube, Facebook, let me know. What do you think happens to Pietrangelo after that play? Sean thinks we got a one-game suspension for misconduct. I think that's automatic. We'll check the rule book on that one. But let us know about Pietrangelo, and we'll discuss that throughout the show. So much more to get to. Like the Oilers, how can they play so good and then have a drop-off and then play so good again? It's up and down. Obviously, Vegas is a good team. That's going to play a role in it. But fun game. Devin says death penalty. Yeah, no one hits Leon Draisaitl like that. And then Steve Urkel was there tonight. I mean, I know his name's really Jaleel White, but Urkel in the building? That's so random, but awesome. So much to get to here on the show. We'll start off, though, as we usually do, with the good, the bad, the oily, brought to you by Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone Insurance Brokers, Edmonton's premier boutique insurance brokerage with over 90 years of success and still growing. Visit cornerstoneins.ca/nation to get an online tenant or condo insurance quote in just a few minutes and use discount code NATION for an exclusive rate. Find out why Cornerstone Insurance Brokers are ranked amongst the best in Alberta. The good, the bad, the oily. We do this every edition of Oilers Nation After Dark. We bring in Waz and keep those responses coming in here about the potential suspension, fine. What do you think it might be? We'll get to that after the good, the bad, the oily here. Waz, tonight, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. That was a fiery end to a hockey game. I think that was, interestingly enough, the most complete playoff game we've seen from the Edmonton Oilers so far this year, but also the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The one with the most extracurricular activities.
Spicy?
Yes,
Feisty?
that's the word. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, a few ways you could go. A preference for sure. I was looking at the box score there, and I don't know exactly how, but Howden misconduct, Howden goaltender interference, Nurse misconduct, Nurse instigator, Nurse fighting, Haig fighting, Pietrangelo misconduct, Kane misconduct, Marshall misconduct, too many men misconduct for Chandler Stevenson as well as Kyler Yamamoto. So the bad blood is brewing. It's going to be a fun one on Friday night when these two teams meet in Sin City. We'll start off as we usually do here, Waz, with the good. And what is the good tonight, producer Gavin? Oil bounce back 100%. Kind of funny for those people who follow online. I mean, when the Dallas Stars lose a game, the Oilers lose. The Oilers win when Dallas wins. Dallas won last night. The Oilers win tonight. So the Edmonton Oilers, a great performance, getting things going earlier on in this one. 3-0 after the first period. Goals from Bukestad, Bouchard, and Matthias Ekholm. The usual suspects, of course. Waz, what did you make of this performance tonight to bounce back in the series?
The Oilers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic, especially after that absolute doozy of a game. It's weird. We went from the worst playoff performance that we've seen from the Oilers in a very long time to arguably one of the best we've seen in a long time. So it's, I don't know. We got 3 quick goals on them in the first period, and we kind of just locked it down. It was almost like the Oilers perfectly executed the script.
100%. Played what they had to, and well, there's lots of things we'll get to. We'll get to it later on when we bring Gavin on as well. Let's get to the bad tonight. And for the bad, we are going to go with back to Sin City. Now, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but for us, we like the home ice advantage. The Oilers obviously had a big win in Game 2 down in Vegas, but going back to Sin City, I don't even think that was entirely bad. Vegas is a fun town.
No, yeah, and considering the Oilers already have one win under their books there, they've done well on the road, so there's no real bads tonight. Maybe the one bad that we could look at is maybe Darnell Nurse won't be playing next game because there might be a suspension coming. I've been reading online, so that's really the only angle I can really take it. But going back to Sin City, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, the chat is blowing up here that, I'll take John because it looks official here on Facebook. Edmonton Oilers Darnell Nurse getting an instigator in the final 5 minutes is a 1-game suspension, but it can be overturned on review. I mean, it wasn't that bad. He went in to defend a teammate. The way the game was going, I would be surprised. But then again, I'm not involved with the NHL Department of Player Safety, and I'm not going to pretend to be because I really don't know what they do. Sometimes it's like they spin the wheel, and we'll see. Okay, let's get to the Oily, and then we'll bring in Gavin and get our thoughts. Nuge scores. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the monkey's off his back. Finally, he has an assist in this game as well. 2 points on the night, but for Nuge, I tweeted that out there. McDavid's reaction was everything. So happy for his guy to get that first goal of the playoffs.
Right. Now, fortunately, I decided to wear my Ryan Nugent-Hopkins jersey tonight, so maybe it rubbed off a little luck. But yeah, honestly, like Nugent-Hopkins, I feel like, he's been playing a decent game. Like, he's been moving the puck well. It's just he hasn't had enough time and space to really, unleash that wrist shot of his. And kind of based on how that game was being played, the Oilers really need to pile shots on Adin Hill. They were shooting from distance. They were just kind of firing at will. And Nugent-Hopkins just found himself in a really good spot to fire the puck home past Adin Hill. And, he was just kind of fighting it, right? Like, the monkey's off his back. He was a little snake bitten, and you love to see it. And hopefully, the goal is now come in waves.
Oh, big time. And you know what? I think we got to give a shout out to our guy, Aaron Bordato. On the last Oilers Nation After Dark, we had a poll. We said, should Aaron bet on a Nuge goal? Because he said he's been betting on Nuge to score throughout the playoffs with Betway 19 plus, bet responsibly. And finally, the people spoke. They said, don't do it, Aaron. So he didn't do it. I also tried to double down. I said, I'm taking the Nuge under half a goal. So I'm basically saying he's not going to score. Nuge proves Oilers Nation After Dark wrong. He goes out there and gets his goal. So I think we might have reversed the curse. You're welcome, Oilers Nation. All right, let's bring in Gavin, our producer here. We'll discuss the slash by Pietrangelo at the end of the game. Obviously, it was late. And Waz, what do you think? Suspension, fine, anything?
Well, as Connor McDavid just said in his post-game press conference, I'd like to see him suspended. That's an intent to injure as you can get. And as my friend Adams in Hockey on Twitter says, when Connor is that blunt, someone better be listening, right? And honestly, I was kind of fired up at the time because I kind of missed the slash, but I saw Connor McDavid, getting into a fight that you typically don't see that happening. And of course, he's standing up for his, best friend, his best teammate, Leon Draisaitl. You'd love to see it. Like, obviously, the officials did a good job of separating them because you don't want to see Connor getting injured in a fight, right? Especially, but in maybe certain circumstances, like, oh, he's standing for his teammate, right? But honestly, it was just absolute classless move from Alex Pietrangelo. I can barely pronounce his last name.
Good player, tough name to say. Gavin, yes. What do you think?
Yeah, Waz kind of took the words right out of my mouth there. It's the intent to injure, right? Like, if he's not suspended for at least one game, what the hell are we doing here? It's obviously an intent to injure on one of the best players in the NHL, if not the best player in the NHL right now. So yeah, of course I'd like to see Pietrangelo out for at least one game. And that just proves that the Oilers got in his head throughout the majority of the series so far, especially last game with King kind of taking a run at him too, right? So yeah, hindsight 2020, hell yeah, Pietrangelo should be suspended for at least one game.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the NHL is stubborn and will say it's playoffs, it's a slash. You didn't hurt him, which is dumb. You got, in my opinion, you should be punishing the act and not the result. But if Leon's good to go, I feel like the NHL is going to find a way around it, and he's going to get the joke $5,000 maximum allowable under the CBA, and it'll be a joke, and we'll be pissed off. Yeah. And the Oilers will run Pietrangelo all game because that's what they were doing tonight, and it worked. I mean, he snapped. He lost his cool at the end of the game, did a stupid thing. And it's good to see. I'm just talking with Aaron right now. He might chime in to just say you're welcome to Oilers fans everywhere for not betting on Nuge. Later on in the show, of course, we might get him on later on here. Jessica on Facebook says NHL player safety total joke. Alicia says if Connor goes to fight, it means something happened with Dry. And I wanted to bring that up because this is just team toughness throughout the lineup. And obviously, Kane, Desharnais, the Oilers have a lot of guys who are willing to drop the mitts if need be. Darnell Nurse obviously gets into it. That was good to see. Hopefully it doesn't lead to a suspension for him. But you don't have to fight, but you have to respond in some manner. And I thought it was really good that Connor McDavid went in there. There's no chance he's fighting. We've seen his one fight in his hockey career. I think he ended up breaking his hand with the Erie Otters, missed some time.
Yeah.
So he's not going to fight, but go in there. Don't back down. Don't let them be the bully. You go up there and you stand up for your teammate. And when he does it, there is no excuse for anyone on this Oilers team to not go and defend their teammates. That was really encouraging for me to see because he didn't have to do it. He could have just skated by and just chirped, but he went at him.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at the highlight right now. It looked like Connor McDavid was he threw a couple fists at him, but then the refs came in pretty quick to stop the fighting, and thankfully it didn't escalate too much because the last player we want injured on this team is Connor McDavid, especially if it's a hand injury, right? Like it could have escalated worse, and I feel like I'm trying to look here. Connor kind of was backing up a little bit. He tried to defend himself as well. It was just a heated moment. That's what happens in sports, right? You're standing up for your teammates, especially after a play like that. Good on Connor, though.
Gavin, I assume you kind of see it the same way, hey?
Yeah, 110%. Obviously Connor McDavid is our captain, so obviously you want to see him standing up for our guys too. And it kind of goes to show the whole Edmonton Oilers roster kind of throwing the body around today too, because it kind of seemed in the previous games in the playoffs that we get out to the early lead, we kind of back down a little bit. We're maybe not throwing the body as much, but we out-hit the Vegas Golden Knights today, so we keep throwing our body around, providing that presence. So it's awesome to see for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And really happy Leon Draisaitl seemingly is okay. This guy, he's like Wolverine. He'd find a way to play anyways. But, good for them. Okay, so we got Delta as Curtis. We got DJ DeLeus, Angel, Kings fan, shout out. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Rusty, some stranger. A lot of familiar faces, but a lot of new faces. Cheryl as well, final buzzer. Thank you guys for all tuning in tonight to Oilers Nation After Dark. It was brought up there. So going back to Vegas, I think it was Tim on Facebook says, I'll be in Vegas Friday. Where will Oilers Nation be? If you do want to go down and check out that game, I highly recommend you use AMA Travel. That's what our guys do. It's a lot of fun experiences powered by AMA. They do cruises, insurance, vacations. They can get you with the proper currency. You want to have that right money, and certain establishments will charge you way too much. AMA is not going to do that for you. So if you want to book a quick trip down to Vegas for Friday, maybe you spend the weekend, could be a good time. Make sure you use AMA. I'm not too sure. Any word from your Chuck and Bag Milk Jay? Are they going to head down? Business trip?
Have you heard anything, Gavin?
I wouldn't rule it out. Especially with our friends at AMA. So you never know.
I don't think so, because I was listening to ONR the other day as I was looking for clips, and I think Tyler mentioned something about as much as I'd like to go, the credit card is probably going to say no.
The ponies treated them well, though, so you never know.
Right?
Yeah. Didn't Bag Milk win pretty handily? Like maybe he's got to spot this trip.
Supposedly, I think they spent it all on a nice dinner. So.
Oh, I respect that. Well, if you want to, 100%. If you want to go AMA Travel, check it out. If you can't make it down, obviously the next best thing is the Greta Watch Party, Oilers Nation official watch party. You guys have both been down for those, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
I honestly, this is the first time I'm watching a game from home throughout these playoffs. I'm either at the Moss Pit or I'm at Greta. So it's Greta is a fantastic time. The vibes are great. We try to honestly amp it up, and Friday is going to be packed. So try to get a reservation. Join us. Most of the Oilers Nation crew is going to be there. Tyler, Bag Milk, Jay, myself, Gavin. Are you going to be there?
I'll be doing this ON After Dark, so nope, it'll just be you guys.
Okay.
Well,
and
hey.
Also, you can probably get yourself in an Oilers Nation street team video. We've been doing those outside Greta, and they've been going very viral on social media recently. So
They've been very funny. So if you want to get your reservations, gretabar.com/book or text 587-418-8507. Great food, great drinks, great atmosphere, giveaways. Aaron's been telling me he's been giving away like jerseys and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And also,
That's been fun.
you can see the shirt behind me. If you want to grab one of these bad boys, there's the pop-up shop. $35. You can get it in black and blue as well. If you can't make it out to the party or you want to, order because you don't live here, nationgear.ca/collections. And they got some great stuff there. I always like to ask this question quickly. Hey, where are you watching from tonight? Let us know in the chat, Facebook and YouTube. One of the coolest things I think about this show is that we get a chance to have people join us from all over the world. Some people watching in Asia, sometimes Europe. We've had, across the United States and across our great country here in Canada. Let us know where you're watching from in the chats. And again, hit that like button. We always appreciate that one. Go ahead.
I know our German friends were watching the game tonight because I saw one of them posted on Twitter that they had their alarm set for 4 a.m. their time. So, and that's dedication there.
We respect the Germans watching their guy. Jessica's in Sydney, Australia. Shout out to Jessica. I think it's 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon there. On Thursday, we've got Ken watching from France, but driving to Luxembourg, Flin Flon, Manitoba, Flon, Vegas. Let us know in the chats. We also have Rockland, Ontario, Hong Kong. Shout out to Rogan. Awesome. Watching from Edmonton, YYC. Yeah, Queensland, Cold Lake. Appreciate you guys out watching us tonight.
Got Quincy out in Musquecheese. I think.
Oh, hey, I appreciate the effort there. Alicia, Sicamous, and Lacombe. How are you watching from 2 different places? Ashmont, Alberta. And we got Oilers Nation all across the world. Southern California, New Westminster, Western Alberta, Salt Lake City, Calgary, Wrexham, Wales. That's awesome. Yeah, it's cool. I like doing this to see where everyone's watching from. Red Deer, Ottawa. Awesome. Shout out to all you guys for tuning in today. Edmonds, Washington. My daughter, Kaylee, got one of your tickets for the Vegas game last Saturday. You guys made her dreams come true. That's awesome. From Shelly. That's awesome. Jasper, Saskatoon. Shout out to you guys for tuning in. Awesome. Okay, Stuart Skinner tonight. He got pulled last game, and he bounced back, I'd say, quite well. 26 shots he faced tonight, 25 save, a .962 save percentage. They had the stat up on the broadcast. In games after being pulled, he's 2-0-1, goals against average of .267, and a save percentage of .922. What did you make of Mr. Stuart Skinner tonight?
I don't think you could have really asked for much more from Stuart Skinner. Maybe a shutout, but other than that, I think he responded well. And you just gotta hope this really, goes into Game 5, right? Just more of a consistent performance, not just from Stu, but the team in front of him, right? Last game, a lot of people were saying, well, Stu shouldn't have been pulled, right? The team in front of him wasn't doing a great job, not supporting him. I think some goals he could have done better on, but honestly, I think this is going to help his confidence. He's a guy who's pretty tough. He knows how to, he knows not how to get in his own head. So I think for Stuart Skinner, a young goaltender, this is great.
Gavin, does fatigue become a concern at all? Because, in the regular season, you don't see goalies playing every second night continually, maybe, 5-6 games in a row. I know the Oilers have had their breaks, and Stuart Skinner has been pulled a couple times, but does fatigue concern you at all?
And not with Stuart Skinner, maybe if I'm looking back to 2017 with Cam Talbot when he's playing 65 games in a season, 70 games in a season, then maybe, but Stu, he doesn't have a long shelf life. This is his first full season in the NHL, so I wouldn't be really worried about fatigue for Stu. And like Watt said, man, he bounced back today, right? So we got the Stu that we knew throughout the regular season, and that massive stave on Mark Stone when it was 2-0. Then we go down the other side of the ice, and Ekholm puts it home. So huge bounce back game for Stu. So awesome to see.
And I'll just chime in there. I think these playoffs have been kind of a blessing in disguise with how the schedule is, because we've had a couple days off here and there, especially between the LA and Vegas series. And then you had a couple games, I think, before game 2. I can't remember, but there's been a few moments where there's been a little bit more rest needed, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, as fans, we don't like those extra days off. But, I mean, for the players, sure. Connor McDavid, Evander Kane, obviously the goaltenders obviously goes a long way. Imelda,
Stu's our man. He got us to where we are now, and I said this argument before on our show here is besides Draisaitl and McDavid, you can make the argument that Stuart Skinner was a team MVP for this year too.
Yeah, and hey, Oilers did a good job in front of him for the first period. He only faced 6 shots, right? So,
Exactly.
good overall team defense. That's what you need to see. Imelda on Facebook says Pietrangelo is stupid smart. He's hitting our star players because Kane is out. He's a loser. Hey, I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's played in this league for a long time. I'm sure he picked this spot wisely, recognizing who was on the ice, knowing he's not, not in too much danger. If Kane's out there, you never know. He might just go punch you in the face. It could happen.
And we've seen that at the end of the first period in Game 3. So
yeah, exactly. He plays on the line, and sometimes he goes over it. He did have. I saw it in the chat. It was mentioned Kane should get 2 games as well from PJS. I don't know if that's an Oilers fan or a Golden Knights fan. We saw a little bit of a cross check there, a little from behind. The angle, I don't know if it was quite as dangerous as some of the other ones we've seen. And we know the NHL doesn't really give a damn about hitting from behind. So, I mean, I don't think we'll see a suspension there.
No, probably not. It's really hard to predict the NHL's Department of Player Safety as it is. Maybe a fine, right? Like it's tough to say. I think right now Pietrangelo is going to be the main focus, and maybe Darnell Nurse. But it'll be interesting to see how the NHL responds to this game in general.
Leanne says, FA, find out, right? Yeah, I mean, I wonder how the Oilers social media team will bounce back.
We finally own that meme again with Kane blowing the kiss through the glass, because I know Vegas switched it on us in Game 3, so we own that meme back again.
I don't know who posted it, but the Photoshop of the faces switched, and I think the caption was like, so this is how it feels. I thought that was very good. I don't know who posted it, but Oilers Nation crushing it across all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, the website, obviously, lots of content there. Oilers Nation every day. You got us after every post-game show. Check it all out. One more thing, if you want to get some Oilers Nation memorabilia, I mean, I talked about nationgear.ca, where you can get some shirts, hats, all those sorts of things. If you want to go celebrate tomorrow for lunch, head over to any Oodle Noodle location in the city of Edmonton and surrounding stores, and you can grab a Nation sticker while you're at it. So get a little sticker, get some noodles, and life will be good. It's a great spot to celebrate, especially on a nice Thursday afternoon after the Edmonton Oilers find a way to get the victory. We're up to over 300 people watching right now on the YouTube channel, Facebook, a couple hundred as well. That's a rough estimate. Make sure you hit that like button for us, share it, and subscribe to all the Oilers Nation social media platforms. Leon Draisaitl, a night where he only had 1 shot. Wish he could have got that goal at the end. I'm sure a few people had some money down on the anytime goal up at Betway. 1 shot, though, came later on in the game. But certainly nice when the Oilers are getting the depth scoring that they did tonight. And Nuge typically wouldn't be depth scoring, but under the circumstances it was. Nick Bjugstad gets his 3rd goal of the season. Evan Bouchard, big shot. Matthias Ekholm, same sort of thing. And, I really like Nick Bjugstad on that first goal. The forecheck that he had to kind of create the opportunity ends up in a rebound. Was good again. That you're not able to count on the same old suspects for the Oilers, getting that depth scoring.
Yeah, I noticed that. It was a great first goal by Nick Bjugstad. The forechecking was great, and then Klim Kostin just kind of rings it off the glass there, and then Bjugstad with the wraparound. So it was good to see that kind of forecheck from our bottom 6 players. And then, seeing Bouchard and Ekholm also get on the score sheet. We always talk about like bottom 6 depth, about, goals from your defensemen. Those are huge, right? Especially in the playoffs, and seeing Ekholm on the board. That was a beauty of a goal. Seeing Bouchard. And then Nuge finally, scores. So it's weird because as much as we love seeing Leon and Connor score, it feels nice to see us not totally rely on them, especially in victories like this.
Gavin, thoughts on just the depth scoring early on, especially, if the Oilers, if we were to tell you the Oilers go up 3-0 in the first period, you're thinking, oh, McDavid and Draisaitl went off. Not really the case. McDavid and Draisaitl did have an assist, but not the guys you usually count on.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why the Edmonton Oilers were so successful throughout the regular season, is because we had that depth scoring, right? And obviously throughout a little bit course of this playoffs, especially Nuge, we haven't really gotten that kind of production kind of thing. So now the fact that we got that this game is absolutely massive, and now going to a pivotal Game 5.
Some people bringing up the gold helmets for Vegas on Friday.
They're gonna blind us with those, man.
I promise you, if they wear those helmets, that's the bad. That's the bad for the good, the bad, the oily. And
Lock it in. Lock it in.
yeah, I mean, I don't actually have the power to make the graphic, but Gavin, we have to do it. That's my promise. I hate those; they're
Locked
terrible.
in right now. If it
I'm
happens.
sorry if people
man.
like them, but I'm doubling down. That will be the bad if it happens. The Oilers could lose 12-0, and it still won't be the bad. That's the promise. Okay, hopping back in here to the chat. Yeah, not a lot of love for those gold helmets out there. Materi, 2 M's. I don't know. I love this after show. You guys rock. Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. Liam says the refs did a piss poor job tonight. Honestly, yeah, the refs. You guys want to? I joked I was going to rip the refs. I got nothing.
Honestly, I think just overall the refs were pretty horrendous on both sides. Like, sure, they made some calls here and there, but like, even I saw a Vegas Golden Knights fan on Twitter say, "Oh, it looks like the Oilers are paying off the refs." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what?" I think I never really like to blame the refs just because I know they're always going to be so inconsistent. I'd say.
Yeah, I know like that penalty where Costin's kind of going to town with the cross checks. Those are more hockey plays along the boards. Like
I didn't like that Hyman one either tonight. So
I mean, there's a spear. There with Darnay clears it over the glass. There's some black and white calls you have to make. The discretion of the refs, though, we never know exactly what it is going to be. Yeah. Quincy says Nurse has $9 million fists. Yeah, we're using that in a positive way tonight with that one. What else we got here? Leanne says Nurse's kissy faces after the brawl was epic. Alicia says new Janecom was wicked, waiting for that. Yeah, nice to see those guys get on the board with some big shots as well. Lots of positive stuff here. Snars attacks, and we love you, Connor, Waz, and Gavin. I'm glad we're all on the same page with those gold helmets. I'm sorry to people that do like them, but I just can't get behind it. The Kings too.
Also, a quick shout to Steve Urkel. He got a lot of love tonight.
You guys are a little younger. I know I had to ask Gavin beforehand. Like, do you even know who that guy is? Waz, do you know the show he's from?
I think I know where the show he's from. I know the reference. I know the character. When it was first referenced on the Oilers Twitter, I'm like, who is this guy? And I'm like, oh, this is Steve Urkel. Okay. So I know who he is. So I've definitely seen his clips.
From Family Matters.
There we go.
Jay was kind of like, man, it's TGIF. Did you guys? There's no way you guys had TGIF. Like,
I don't think so.
That was like so Friday night. And people can let me know, but it was like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Boy Meets World. I think Family Matters. There was Step by Step. There's a few shows, and it was like I feel like for the millennials of my age range, big time into it. So seeing Steve Urkel there was funny.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch rings a bell. I used to watch that when I was super young.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know that one either.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the people that know. What do you think the real reason he was there for? Like, I feel like he and Ken Holland are just buddies from back in the day.
I have no idea. I know Gene Pritzpay interviewed him during the intermission. I can't remember. I think he's an Oilers fan and he wanted to come watch the game.
Consultant to the general manager next year. Lock it in.
He was the one who actually approved Ekholm. Like, yeah, do the deal. Do the first, sure.
Yeah, he said no to Chikrin. Yeah, we're going the Ekholm route.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. If Urkel says so, I guess that's what we're doing, guys.
Urkel says it. Someone says Teen Angel. I don't remember that one. Someone says Saved by the Bell. I don't know if that was TGIF because TGIF was like an ABC thing. I think Saved by the Bell was NBC. Christopher Palmer says, God, I'm old. Stars Attack says, oh, God, you're taking me back. Yeah. Hey, I mean, we're showing our age, but that's okay. Urkel's a legend. He invented a machine where he would go from Steve Urkel to Stefan, and he was like the coolest guy. Maybe you guys should watch it. I think it's still on Disney Channel every once in a while. It's somewhere. Anyways,
probably watch on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it. It's definitely worth it for sure. Just going back to the game tonight here, obviously Oilers with the big 4-1 victory, and we'd seen it in past games when the Oilers take the big leads earlier on. They kind of find a way to let the players rest a little bit. The big names, at least Leon Draisaitl playing under 20 minutes tonight, Nuge as well. Zach Hyman, 16-23. Hyman playing 6 minutes on the power play. Obviously, we know something's going on there. He was kind of a 50-50 chance to play tonight, but we're not going to know what the problem is until the end of this playoff run, whenever that might be. Waz, what did you think of going back to 12-6? Obviously, Matthias Janmark returning to the lineup. Philip Broberg comes out. Vinny Desharnais gets 16.5 minutes. How did you like the lineup tonight?
Honestly, I can't complain considering the Oilers got the W. Personally, I do like Philip Broberg. I feel like he should be being played a bit more. I think he's just such a smooth skater. He's good with the puck. But as long as the team gets a W, it doesn't matter to me what the lineup is, you know?
That's it. I like that. What did you think, Gavin? Were you expecting that kind of performance going back to 12-6?
Yeah, I just think it's just recently biased, right? Like we're coming off like a massive win. So, and obviously 12-6 worked tonight. So yeah, and I don't know if we lost, obviously it'd be a different story, but Janmark does so much to this Edmonton Oilers team. So getting him back in the lineup is absolutely massive. And I think you can afford Philip Broberg not in the lineup as much.
Yeah.
So I like the 12-6, and like I just said, recently biased, we won this hockey game. So
someone says live is not working on YouTube. So, we'll see if we can correct that issue. Not exactly sure what is going on. Nuge is huge, says Marin. Yeah, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, we've been waiting. He did show up. One thing we could touch on very quickly here, the Boston Pizza Fanalytics playoff menu. They got the winged ribs, the pizza flights. That's 3 6-inch pizzas. Unbelievable. The triple play, which is a personal favorite of mine, Bandera bread, Thai bites, and the cactus cut potatoes, garlic parmesan fries, and one that I kind of throw out there, deep fried pickle wedges. Not for me, but if you're a fan of the pickles, go for it. YouTube is good to go. I can't confirm. Gavin, you were on that one. We like to provide a little bit of statistics with the Fanalytics. I'm not quite so good on the Fanalytics, but Gavin, you have some numbers regarding Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, correct? And his last goal.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. Like you guys were saying, to get the monkey off his back. So that snaps an 11-game goalless streak for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So hopefully he can keep it going now for going into Game 5.
Waz, any numbers you want to drop on the crew here?
Yeah, so there's a little stat I've been keeping track of recently in the NHL playoffs, and this is the NHL playoffs as a whole. It's very clear in these NHL playoffs that you need to score a lot of goals to win. 46 of the victories that have come in the playoffs so far, the winning team has scored 4 or more goals. Only 15 victories have come 3 or less. So the Oilers are obviously very good at scoring goals, except for, Game 3. We're not going to talk about that. But it's proof of the pudding. As long as the Oilers can start, continuously score 4 or more goals, they're going to be in every game or winning majority of the games. So, and the Oilers are the best team at doing that.
That's good. I'm glad you had some real Fanalytics, because that's not my strong suit.
Right? I was thinking, because there's this narrative that you need defense to win championships in the NHL. And while that is true to an extent, I think the league is, it's becoming more offensive, where you need different types of defenders like Evan Bouchard's or, Matthias Ekholm. You need, production from your defense as well, right? The NHL I grew up with was you have to lock it down, 2-2 games, 2-1 games. We're in a league where goals matter a little bit more.
100%. Yeah. I mean, geez, and you're making it so much easier on yourself when you get that start, right? 3 goals, it's massive. 2 goals, a little too tight. 3 goals goes a long way. Another thing that goes a long way, Wilhauk beef jerky. Not my best transition, but Wilhauk beef jerky. Alberta's best beef jerky. You can find them at one of their 3 locations at West Edmonton Mall, Leduc, or Spruce Grove. Find out more at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Gavin, I do believe that we are trying to get Aaron in. He wants to hop in and make some Betway picks, because, of course, his sacrifice did lead to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scoring a goal, his first goal of the playoffs. So if you want to send him a link quickly, we'll get to him. I just want to get a couple of quotes from the room. Daniel Nugent-Bowman tweeting out Ryan Nugent-Hopkins saying this about Alex Pietrangelo / Leon Draisaitl. It's not really a hockey player. I think it means play. You know what he's trying to do. Nick Bukestad called it a dirty play. Connor McDavid said he wants him to be suspended for the slash. So we'll see what happens. The NHL, like we talked about, Department of Player Safety, clearly an intent to injure. There is no other reason you would do that. The puck was gone. Almost similar to, not the the play, but what Cale Makar did to get his suspension, the puck's gone. There's no reason to do it, but you followed through and went for it. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. I kind of said I think they'll just give him that $5,000 fine, but we shall see. The NHL will come down in whatever fashion they end up doing it. Well, we talked about it earlier on. Well, actually, we kind of glazed over it quickly. Corey says, why the F is no one talking about the Theodore blatant spear to the groin on Costin? Automatic suspension.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Costin was kind of giving him the business, and that's what I was going to say is kind of a hockey play. You might not like it, but cross-checking goes on quite a bit in the game. Turning around and a spear to the nads. I believe Strutty once called it ringing the bells. That's dirty. So clean Costin, 100%. The ultimate sacrifice there.
Well, it's also just because everything that got overshadowed by everything else that happened, right? Like you're typically not going to remember a play that happened in the first period, right? Like you saw all the festivities, everything that got heated towards the end, the spear. Everyone's talking about the spear, the slash on Leon Draisaitl, right? And fairly so.
Yeah, the accuracy there shown by Theodore. Direct hit. You could tell the way Clem Costin went down. You hate to see that kind of stuff. And I think had that happened later on in the game, the mitts would have been dropped, but not that early. And one last quote here before we get Aaron Bardotto in here. This from Jason Greger and Jay Woodcroft. He's not going to say a lot. He says, I will not define it as a hockey play, and I'll leave it at that. So Jay Woodcroft, one day I think he might go at the refs, but it will not be today, and we'll see what happens. Aaron, do we have you in the building tonight? He's in full fan mode tonight. Aaron, how you doing?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm doing lovely.
Now,
I would love to be up a couple dollars right now, but
we're
shout out to the fans. We put it to a poll, so I have to thank every one of you. And if you rode with the new Jenny Time goal, you're welcome. And that was one hell of an evening tonight, gentlemen.
Okay, I want to get to that. We'll make our picks in a second here, but just going back to the last show, it was us, and we were talking about, and Cam, obviously, and, Aaron, you were riding on the new Jenny Time goal basically every game, and we as a fan base, an entity decided you can't do it anymore because you're jinxing him. So you didn't bet on the anytime goal. I predicted in my Betway pick that he would not score a goal. We threw all we had into the universe, and it paid off big time. So your buddies, though, did bet the anytime goal that you were watching with, and they took care of you, right?
I said I was sitting with 6 of my buddies at least. I told them all the deal that the nation's citizens voted on, that I couldn't ride. So I told them all too, because I assumed that meant he was due. And what do you know? We all profited. I was told I didn't have to pay for pizza and beers. So that was my contribution to the nation. Sometimes you got to make a sacrifice for the greater good. And that's what we did here.
Quickly, in like a minute or less, hype up the watch parties down at Greta. Oh, my goodness.
I think we lost him.
We were just – it was going to be awesome too.
Yeah.
Well, I'll speak for Aaron. I just went to my first one on the weekend. Holy man, they're electric. They're absolutely electric. And Aaron does a great job hosting. And it's just fun being with everyone. And like you were saying earlier, Connor, give out some awesome prizes. It's just a blast, man.
I think the best part about these Greta parties is that we try to get everybody involved as much. And, if you come down on Friday, you and I could play some basketball together. We could play some skee ball. I love skee ball, Mario Kart, whatever it is. I'm not great at basketball. You can whoop my ass in that. I don't mind that. But, I fortunately, as what the nation hosts, we get these little gift little cards that are kind of loaded with the points to go play games. Like, hey, if you want to play a game, I'll play with you. We can have some fun.
I like that. That's the best. Like going to establishments like that where you can, have a bite to eat, have some drinks, shoot some hoops, play some games. I mean, that's it. That's perfection. And then you have the Oilers Nation crew down there, firing you up. You got the game on, and also a charitable aspect as well, correct?
Yes, I believe so. I'm not too sure what the charitable aspect for Game 5 is. I can't remember the top of my head, but there's always something. There's always a charitable raffle going on, which is awesome. So we always like giving back here at Oilers Nation.
Shout out to the fine folks at Oilers Nation. Okay, I don't know if Aaron's going to come back or not. He's more than welcome to. But why don't we get to some Betway picks going to game number 5. It'll be down in Vegas, 8 o'clock, we believe, because the Leafs somehow they stayed alive. They beat the Panthers tonight, so there will be a game 5 in that series. They avoid the sweep. They are They were almost like the only team not to have a second round victory in 20 years or something, because obviously the Seattle Kraken did it only their second year. We got Aaron back here. He's back, baby. Okay, so like I was gonna say though, quickly, if you want to go down for game number 5 in Vegas, AMA Travel, they'll hook you up. Okay, Aaron, you're making the first pick because I don't know if we're gonna have you for much longer. It looks like you froze again. If we can, Betway pick and then score prediction for game 5.
I'm gonna ride with I think I'm gonna do something with the third line. I'm seeing McLeod. I'm seeing Fogle. I'm seeing Derek Ryan was. So I might, I don't know, sprinkle something on those lines. And I hope to see you all right out on Friday. And I'm going to bet money line in the over. That's my pick. My connection is shit. So we'll see you boys later.
Wait,
Cheers.
Aaron, wait.
Yeah,
Wait. Are you going to vote on a new Jenny Time goal?
Oh.
This is great. The anticipation.
Please back, Aaron.
AB.
You know what?
Oh, that's
You're back. You're back, Aaron.
I might have to take a screenshot of his face there.
Maybe just text us. We can relay the message.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Bordato, the producer of this show. Sometimes it's kind of a mixed bag now. Everyone's chipping in. Like the Oilers, we're getting it done. Alicia says he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. He can text us. He can let us know what the plan is.
His internet's still slow tonight, so
he's dead zone. It happens. We said please be safe and bet Vinny from Curtis. Let us know what's your Betway pick. A prediction, prop bet at Betway 19+. Do so responsibly, and a score prediction. Waz, what do you have today?
Honestly, the one thing I've kind of been running mostly is I'm always confident in Evan Bouchard putting up 2 points at least, 2 or more. I always run that. Gavin, you know more about betting. What's that called when a player is that a player prop?
Yeah.
There we go. That's a player prop. Yeah,
big prop guy.
I'm a big prop guy. And honestly, it's hard to never bet the over, right? Like especially with the Oilers playing. So, but I'll run with I think next game will be a 5-3 victory for the Edmonton Oilers, and Evan Bouchard puts up 2 points.
Gavin, give us a 20-leg parlay, man.
Oh, man, I wish. I think so. I'm going to do score prediction first. I think Stu continues to stand on his head, so I'm going to go I'll do 3-1 Oilers victory. And then I think, over there, Kane's going to find the back of the net, not once, but twice. Count it.
All right. I'm going to take a 5-3 Oilers win. I did that last game as well. Didn't work out for me. And nope, can't do it. Hyman, anytime goal.
Yeah, I was between him and Kane, so I love it.
Staying away from Nuge. Just can't do it. He'll, you know what, like last game, bet the under when it comes to goals for him. That's what we're doing. We're putting that out there in the universe again. We got a good question here, actually, before we wrap up. Dylan says, if it's a dual suspension, Pietrangelo and Nurse, we got Ekholm to run a top pair. How does that fare for Vegas? You know what? If Draisaitl is suspended, I think there's going to be a lot of Oilers fans, and, you know, his haters won't admit it, but they'll miss Darnell Nurse out there. Obviously, that means Philip Broberg's going to come in here and have to play an expanded role. It's not so much the top end I worry about, because I think that Ekholm can do the job just fine, but it'd be that third pairing, and you're on the road, so there's some matchups you can take advantage of.
Quick question. Somebody on Instagram DM'd us. He says, why will Woodcroft be getting 10,000 if Nurse doesn't get suspended? Does anyone know why? Is there any reasoning, truth behind that?
Woodcroft?
Yeah, they said Woodcroft will be getting fined 10K. So I don't know if there's validity to that.
I don't know.
I wonder if it might be having a player take a instigator in the final 5 minutes. Yeah, so here it is. NHL Rule 4621. A player who is deemed to be the instigator of an altercation in the final 5 minutes of a game shall be suspended for 1 game pending a review. To me, I don't know. I can't. If it happens, that's wild to me. When the suspension is imposed, the coach shall be fined $10,000. I suppose the thought process is that you sent out a tough guy to go do that, and that's on the coach. Darnell Nurse plays.
And that's bearing a suspension then? Like Nurse has to get suspended? Okay.
When the suspension is imposed. I feel like you kind of, for the coach, like Darnell Nurse isn't a hired gun. He is a guy who plays 26 minutes a night for this team. He was out there to wrap up a game. We'll see.
They're not throwing out a Darcy Hordichuk.
Yeah.
No, exactly. They don't have that guy anymore, right? I think that kind of era is gone. You're going to put out guys who can play, but we shall see. That's a good find by that person on Instagram, letting you know, and we'll see. Just trying to scroll through here. When the one game is imposed, the coach shall be fined $10,000, a fine that will double for each subsequent incident. The suspension shall be served unless, upon review of the incident, the director of hockey operations at his discretion deems the incident is not related to the score, previous incidents in the game or prior games, retaliatory in nature, message sending, etc. The length of the suspension will double for each subsequent offense. This suspension shall be served in addition to any other automatic suspensions a player may incur for accumulation of 3 or more instigator penalties. So, well, now that we have this information, I think we gotta talk about it for a little bit longer here. Sorry to keep you guys even later than planned. 11:40 here. We'll go a little bit longer. So, Waz, we'll start with you. Do you think that that incident at the end of the game was related to score, previous incidents in the game or prior games, retaliatory in nature, or message sending?
Possibly message sending. I mean, Nurse was just standing up for his teammates, right? Like, I think we've seen that plenty in the NHL before, and we don't maybe suspend. I don't know how many of them have resulted in suspensions, but you don't often hear about coaches being fined $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough to say.
Gavin?
No, like Pietrangelo was out there the shift before and took a swing at one of our best players. And so they're going to review this Nurse thing. They're going to throw it out. End of story. I think Nurse will be fine. Woodcroft, his wallet will be fine. No, like no way in hell Nurse gets suspended for this. And I'm spicy because Pietrangelo out there taking swings, and if anything, that man shouldn't be suiting up for next game, but I still think he will be. So no, I think Nurse will be there.
Great answer.
If that fine comes down, I think that's where Connor McDavid goes around the room with a hat and says, $500, boys.
Exactly.
We're paying this fine for coach. Yeah. He's not paying this one. And Darnell Nurse, he didn't go jump a guy. Nicholas Hague was a willing combatant who's bigger in terms of height. Nurse is 6'4", 221. Hague is 6'6", 230. So he didn't go beat the crap out of a little guy.
Yeah, and it wasn't a one-sided tilt either, right? Like Hague got in the shots right at the start, and then Nurse got him back after, but it wasn't just like pure dominant of a fight of Nurse. Like, no.
Someone says Nurse is already suspended. Well, I don't think the review would be done already.
Yeah, no.
But we'll see. If it happens, then that's the rule, and the Oilers got to adapt. And in that case, you wonder, Pietrangelo, will he be? Because that was predatory as well. Kind of a BS shot there. Anything else you guys want to get to while we're here? Anything else burning you up inside?
Exact same situation as we were in round one. Best of 3, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. I just hope. Oh, sorry, Gavin. You.
No.
I just hope this doesn't go to 7 games. Go to Vegas, win, come back, win, series done. Let's move on. I think the boys should be absolutely fired up after what happened to Draisaitl there at the end. Just light him up. Bring that same performance you did tonight in Vegas and just keep hammering them. Simple as that. They clearly can't keep up with the pace with the Oilers when the Oilers bring their A-plus effort, and we saw that tonight. We need to be consistent going into the Game 5, Game 6. Just bring the consistent A-plus effort. I don't know why that's been so difficult for this team, but we need it every game.
And go Dallas.
Yeah. Imagine if you remember like when the NFL was like making jokes about the script. Imagine like the Oilers watching the Stars lose. Like, shit, we got to lose again. What are we gonna do? Got to follow the script. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. Just a few more comments here on Facebook. Dylan says previous games too. He and Hague have been at each other. Mike says if the rule is Nurse gets a suspension for it, then so be it. But the slash needs to be 2 games for sure. I don't think Woodcroft put him out there to go do that. Alicia says he was trying to stick up for his teammate. It was retaliatory. And Cameron says both Nurse and Pye get suspended, or neither do. Cameron, that would make sense with the NHL. No, they don't work in that fashion. Michael says Pietrangelo gets 1 to 2, probably Nurse getting 1. Woody gets fined for the instigator. Super weak. Ekholm will play 27 minutes. Kulak 23-24, with Broberg spelling in low minutes with CC and Vinny splitting those minutes on the right side. Nurse is in a review, not suspended on the NHL site. Go Oil. 2 wins in a row like LA round 1.
Love it.
That was good. And yeah, we'll leave it with that one. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight here on the show. One more time, thank you all of our sponsors, Wheelhawk Beef Jerky, Alberta's best beef jerky. They'll take orders of any size, as big as you want to go. They'll find a way to get it done. The only the finest tasting meats will earn the Wheelhawk name. Find out more at wheelhawkbeefjerky.com. Cornerstone Insurance. Check them out at cornerstoneins.ca/nation. We mentioned AMA Travel. If you got a vacation planned, maybe once the season wraps up, you want to go decompress somewhere, talk to AMA Travel. They can help you with cruises, vacation packages, insurance, guided vacations, coach tours, hotels, car rental, attraction tickets, save on luggage, accessories, and more. AMA Insurance and Nation Gear. If you want to grab that shirt that's right above me right there, you can do that at nationgear.ca or head down to Greta on Friday. Aaron's going to be there. You can see him in live. His internet won't crap out there, so you just get to hang out with Aaron. Tell him that I told him he has to buy you a beer. You can also book at gretabar.com/book. Pick up a shirt there. They got the pop-up shop with a lot of great fun stuff. Waz, you'll be there on Friday?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to know when Game 5, like, what time is the game going to be? Like, we don't know yet.
Game
right?
5, I thought they announced the time. It's just Game
Did they?
6. We're not sure. Yeah, Game 6 is depending on the Leafs.
Yeah, Leafs will play on Friday at 5, so Oilers will play at 8. That's what I would assume. And then we also
That's 8
must...
o'clock. 8
Yeah,
o'clock Game 5.
it is 8 o'clock. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Oodle Noodle.
You're welcome, Oz.
If you want to go grab lunch tomorrow, grab some noodles, pick up an Oilers Nation sticker at any location in Edmonton and surrounding area. Also, Betway, if you want to have some fun, do so responsibly, 19 plus. And our title sponsor, Boston Pizza. It is the playoff menu powered by Fanalytics. They got some great stuff. Another great spot for lunch, dinner. We've talked about it a lot. Me and the boys used to go there every Friday, Saturday night for about a 5-year span. Shout out to the crew at the location just north of West Edmonton Mall. For Waz and Gavin and everyone at Oilers Nation, I'm Connor Halley. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Make sure you hit that like button for us if you're on Facebook and YouTube, on Twitter. You can like it as well, or hit the retweet and subscribe to Oilers Nation across all the platforms. We will talk to you on Friday, and go Dallas.